This is Run That Back on the Untapped Show. I'm your host, Anastasia. Let's go.
Hey, run that back.
All right, so this is another edition of Run That Back. This week, I am talking to CARA. Now, I wanted to give you a title. I wanted to talk about what kind of music you do, what kind of music you make, but I'm going to let you tell us about that.
I don't really go by genres, and I am in pop radio, but the reason I love pop so much is you can combine so many other elements of different genres,
right?
And you're not really stuck to anything. So I really let my emotions lead the way and my writing lead the way, and whatever comes out of that writing, for me, that's the emotion it carries.
Yeah.
So I try not to alter that, and I want it to come organically. So therefore, my pop music, has so many elements. It has classical instruments, it has hip hop beats, it has trap beats, and it has some dance elements. And I just think that that's music in its prime, meaning that we're not going to try to find a box. We're going to let the story tell itself. Yeah.
And so you sing, you rap, you play the flute.
Yeah.
What else do you do musically? Like, what else is part of the makeup?
Well, a really big thing that I'm known for is I do everything besides the engineering itself, and that's because I'm still learning the equipment and learning a bunch of technical elements of putting together a song. But as far as the production, I do executive produce it, and I do produce it.
Okay.
So I have worked with so many producers in the past that I'm just at a time in my career where it's not that I'm not trying to collaborate, it's more so that I'm telling an autobiographical story, and therefore it just wouldn't make sense to me if somebody else was composing it or if somebody else was writing it. It would seem inauthentic. And so really that's what I do now musically. I take control of the entire project from the ground up, every detail, from the creative direction to the artwork to the writing to the, of course, production side.
Yeah.
So I'm just literally doing it from the ground up now.
How do you approach building a track? Do you start with instrumentation? Do you start with a concept? Where do you begin?
It's such a great question, because it's a very passionate answer. So usually for me, as a writer, there's already a lot of ideas and inspiration in my head of where I want to go. And a lot of times it starts with just a synth or a beat. It could be something very simple. Then usually I start to hear a top line melody. As a writer, it just starts coming to you,
right?
So then a very easy way, as most people in production will know, is I then take that top line melody, and my engineer, Kelsey, helps me to transfer that top line melody into piano. And then we take that note from those notes and that beat and that rhythm and that melody from the piano, and we transfer it into a synth that I find that I love.
Right.
And of course that's a standard way of production, but I mean, it's magical, right?
Absolutely.
And every time that happens, I'm like, that's how I know I'm in the right business.
Exactly.
And I call it a business because it is, but that's how I know I'm doing the right thing in my life. That's how I know I'm following the right career path and inspiration and love and passion, because when that magic starts to happen in the studio, you get so excited.
Definitely. Yeah. What inspired you to take on music as a career?
I think I'm a writer at heart. So going kind of to stem from that into this question, then when I hear those melodies, some of the inspiration that's already in my head starts to come out lyrically into these melodies that I'm hearing and that I'm creating into the song. So then that goes into the writing. I think that's why I've never left music, because I'm just a writer. And so I have to write about things to process them.
Right.
So there's been times where I've been in other industries including the cannabis industry in Los Angeles. And I even thought at that time, well, I'm so busy now, I'll never be in music again.
Oh my gosh.
And then I was going through so much, you know, being in East LA as a woman, you know, with a commercial grow, like going through all that, you know, you have to let it out somehow. And I found myself writing about it. And then I said, well, I guess this is not really leaving me. And then a lot of things happened in my life. You know, I had losses and stuff, and the album, family loss, in the middle of all this. I knew it was going to be an album when I started to write it. I realized it was going to turn into a story. I didn't realize the story would get so intense though, with you know, losing my brother in a home invasion, and then losing my mom right after that. I didn't realize the story would prosper into such a deep written story where I found myself processing everything from my childhood. And so I put it all into the album, and I realized the difference from my music before and my music today is that maybe in the past, if you hear like a song like Fight, my Beastie Boys remake from 2014, I mean, that's like a party song.
Right.
Well, I realized I'm singing about partying in New York because I'm trying not to think about
Right.
all this other stuff I have to process from my childhood that I don't want to process. You know, when I had those losses, and I lost my brother, and I lost my mother, I just realized, you know, I'm facing things that in my childhood from these losses that I never wanted to face. So this became a life story, an autobiographical story, where you go through things in your life, and instead of letting it defeat you, it becomes empowering.
Yeah. You know, you talked about Fight, your Beastie Boys remix, being sort of an escape for you.
Yeah.
And your more recent music being more of a...
You have to face it.
Exactly. When you go back and you listen to the songs that you've sort of written in this time period, is it difficult for you? Do you find yourself sort of sinking into the emotion that you're feeling?
That's a great question. You know why?
Why?
Because, you know, there's the writing and then the performance part. And I wrote all this stuff. It felt really good to get it out of my system, writing it. And then when I went to sing it with my vocal coach, I went to her because I found that I couldn't sing it. Because every time I tried to sing it, I was crying.
Okay.
Like literally like that cry where you don't expect it and it just kind of falls out of you. That kept happening.
Okay.
And I asked her, and I think this is so interesting. I said, Rachel, what is going on here? I wrote this. How come I can't sing it? It's like I didn't even write it, because every time I try to sing it, I can't do it. I'm just crying and I'm stiff and it's so difficult. And she said, because your throat chakra. Your throat chakra works very differently in how you have been processing your emotions than when you've just written everything down. So basically it was all blocked. It was all in pain and grief and messed up. And it took a long time, many sessions, you know, it took a while for me to be able to sing everything. And then I found myself, you know, processing these emotions. When I got strong enough to sing the song, then I was able to finally use the song as a tool to process. Okay. And just take the emotion and delve into it without crying.
These stories are going to be on Kronicles?
Yes. And there's some happy stories too, and there's empowering stories, and there's all kinds of real, it's all true.
What haven't you touched on in your music that you would like to talk about? Anything?
I think I've really touched. This song has, this album, I'm sorry, has 16 songs. Two of them are bonus tracks. Yeah. So the bonus tracks are taking 2 of the 14 songs and doing an acoustic version with one and a piano version.
Sweet. Okay.
So really in these 14 songs, the only thing I haven't, I did kind of touch on love like once in like one line, but there's the only thing that it really doesn't have is relationship stuff.
Right.
Because this is more of like a story from childhood
Okay.
up into the adult I am today,
Right.
going through those struggles, trials and tribulations with, yes, there's a lot of cannabis struggle, but there's also a ton of grief
Mm-hmm.
and a ton of, what it's like for women. It's not an album about women empowerment, but really, I mean, it kind of comes into that a lot of times, because here we are as women, like me and Gangsta Boo in the song, talking about how we don't need anybody, we can do everything ourselves. Like, everybody, Oh, sorry,
You're good.
all I'm trying to say by that is that, it's really about standing up for yourself.
Yes.
So Tears is out right now. The next song will be Yeah, What's Up.
Mm-hmm.
That
sounds like fun.
It is. It's the funnest song I've had so far, because the first two were a little slower. This one's going to pick up the pace.
Okay. Is it a party song?
Yeah, it's following me on my night out in a realistic way.
Got you.
And it's like very realistic.
What do you mean by realistic?
Well,
sitting in traffic? Like, what are we talking about?
Well, we go to a few places, and we go to the strip club. We just go. We have our brunch the next day. It's a great story to follow in the song. There's a lot happening in the song.
Okay.
And it is a party song though. But it still has very trappy beats, so it's not a dance song.
Gotcha.
And so this is going to be my first fun song, because the other ones, are a little more metaphorical and introspective. And this one's just we're going out.
Yeah.
Finally, I'm going to go out, in my album. And then the next song after that is CARA featuring Gangsta Boo. After CARA featuring Gangsta Boo comes out in 2026, that's the 4th single. So that's when my album, The Chronicles, drops.
Okay.
And my Instagram is CARA Official, which CARA is with a C. And then it's funny, because if you want to see anything else, the website's actually the opposite, Official CARA.
Gotcha. Nice.
So there are two options for CARA Official or Official CARA. I don't know why that is. I should fix that. But you can find everything on there, from Spotify to anything you need. It's all there.
All right. Well, we're going to follow you, and we're going to keep up with your journey. And thank you for being a light, and thank you for being a beacon and lighting the way.
You are a light.
Leading the way.
I love your makeup, and I love your style.
Thank
and it
you,
has
likewise.
been, you are have such positive energy that you've made this so fun for me.
Yeah.
So I can't thank you enough.
I appreciate it. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. All right. Peace.
Hey, run that back.